So today we're going to be playing Inventions, Evolution of Ideas, written by Vital Lacerda, who writes famously / infamously heavy board games. I'm hoping that one of the inventions in this game is a new brain after learning the rules. So, as with most heavy, complex board games, specifically Lacerda's games, it's a challenge to do a brief overview, but I'll do my best. In Inventions, you are mapping the evolution of civilization through the lens of its inventions. As with many Lacerda games, the complexity is carefully structured into a few core actions. You place your pillar, worker, on one of these actions and enact the sequence of elements within the action. Actions include presenting an idea, inventing a presented idea, innovating on an idea, and presenting an invention to the world. There are further actions as well that you can use your specialists for. Different players can be involved with the same inventions in these ways. If the pillars are like your workers, citizens are like your resources. You can spend them throughout all of the actions. There are 4 types, 3 specialists matching the 3 invention types, and scholars which are wild. You can send them travelling around the world, send them as diplomats, and have eureka moments. Your player board has progress tiles that augment your actions and offer more endgame scoring opportunities. There is, of course, a lot more, but that's about the size of it. Cool. Both of our brains hurt, that's for sure, but in a way that isn't quite as, I don't want to play this anymore and I'm going to sell the game as I thought it was going to be. I absolutely loved it. That's an 8.5 for me. It obviously had that click point where you are reading the rules 90% of the time for the first hour, I'd say. Every single action you do, because there are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different actions, you have to read through. I mean, we've got this player aid. We've got also printed out these player aids from BGG, which helped a lot because that was an abridged version of what is in the rules.
Whoever made those needs to be bought a beer.
Yes, definitely. I'll see if I can put the name in the name of this video because they were extremely useful player aids. So each action is a sequential, quite like a lot of Lacerda games, sequential procedure of things you need to do one after the other. But the combos, again, like Lacerda games, were delightful.
Yeah. It's got that really tight having to plan your actions that we love from things like Viticulture or Underwater Cities, where it's quite restrictive. So you have to plan your 3 turns per era really intricately, which I think we both got into the swing of quite nicely about halfway.
Yep. Being able to plan it through.
And in the final era, we spent half the time of the era planning.
Yes. I had to get my notes out and start writing notes because, again, procedural nature of Lacerda games, you've got to set this up to be able to do that, to be able to get that. And if you haven't done those 2 steps before, you won't be able to do that. But that third thing that you want to do is very often the thing that's going to get you points. I focused far too much on endgame scoring. So you get these endgame scoring, you get 3 at the start. I did not realise you only get to score 2 of those. So I spent most of the game obsessing to be able to score 3 of these, not knowing that one of them would be useless. But that's fine.
And I forgot about mine entirely and accidentally scored one.
You forgot they even existed. You forgot you even had any of those cards.
Yeah.
I told Richard on our very last turn of the game, how are your endgame scores? And he looked at them and went, I didn't know I had these. So, and then fluked into scoring.
That bit was luck.
Scoring them anyway. Luck. So now Richard absolutely tore along the track, and then I was all the way at the back, and then only just we had me pulling ahead by 2 points. 2 points. That's it. So, and I did that because I just did what Liz does.
Genuinely, the difference between 1 space on the
exactly. If that had been one more, Rich would have won. If I hadn't taken that action, we would have been equal.
You would have had 4 less.
Oh, 4 less, yeah.
Would have been
it's
the
that
same
simple.
difference
that
either way.
tight. So technically we both won because we both did extremely well and we were very, very, very close.
We've done what we love doing, is playing 2 very different games and achieving a similar score.
Yeah.
Proving that there are multiple ways to play this game.
Absolute paths to victory and paths to victory points.
Yeah.
I took my wife Liz's method of just focusing on endgame scoring. These wealth tiles for endgame scoring. Richard only had 1. I had 2 and maxed out what I could score for them. And the end game, even though I could only do 2 of them, the 2 that I could do, I scored max on those as well. So I focused on endgame scoring, but I didn't get many points in the game.
Yeah, whereas I focused on being the presenter of ideas and maximising the points I would get when those were eventually shared.
Which really started to snowball. I didn't know why you were putting out so many of these guys.
Yeah.
And I had so many. I mean, look at that. You've still got hardly any here, and I've ended up with bloody loads, and you don't get points for those. But it's because you were putting 2 of your guys on the present an idea, so that each time that idea was realised, you got 2 times the points on it. So at the end, you would get. I mean, at the end, just one idea got you 10 points.
Yeah.
And I did one idea in the same round. I got 2 points because it was 1 times 2, and so you were maximising the scoreability of where you were putting those.
Yeah.
Didn't even occur to me because I was too tunnel visioned to endgame scoring conditions, making sure I had these tiles to score that, making sure I had the pairs to score that, and making sure I could score these.
Yeah.
Theme wise, I'm still somewhat in the camp. When I was learning this, I was thinking, what does this have to do with the theme? It could be anything. It could be a Civ game. This could be Inventions. This could be a farming game. This could be, right, well, you need wheat to get feed for the cows. You need feed for the cows to get milk. You need milk to get butter. You need butter to get to have bread and then the loop back to wheat, etc. You could do that very similarly, which surprised me for a Vital Lacerda game.
Let's be clear, though. The theme works.
Yeah.
Everything does make sense.
Now that we've played it.
But the theme is not vital to it.
Yeah.
The theme is not central.
There's the concept of painted on theme where you have a really good game mechanically, but the theme really, actually, they've just used it. Well, this is what it's about, but it's about the mechanics. And there's the concept that the theme helps you with the mechanics of the game intrinsically because of how intuitive it is. With Kanban, with On Mars, with the Gallerist, that's very much the case because those games are aided specifically and intrinsically by the fact that, well, of course you're going to produce that part for that car and then it goes down the production line, and so the things that you're doing have a natural progression that not only fits mechanically but fits for what you would do if you were making a car in a factory. I didn't feel have that connection of progression. No. Which is why we had to go back through these constantly. Right, okay, which constantly every action we took, I had to give that to Richard and say, right, take me through this action. Which one? I need to put that there. Yeah. That means I get that. Then I get that. Then I get that. We never really put these down, which is sometimes that can be a bit. You want to just be able to play a game. Like last night with The Witcher, we were able to play that, and in the end, I put the player aid down because we knew that it was intuitive. It was intuitive.
Whereas the
theme carried us.
The intuition never caught.
The theme didn't really carry the understanding of the mechanics in the way that the Lacerda games normally do.
3 or 4 plays of this, you'd be caught up, no problem. But even for us,
I'd have to go to bed.
That was constant
for 2 days.
Absolute constant checks.
A lot of checks. And that is 3 Paul Grogan videos. So we watched his video 3 times and checked it this morning and read the player aids quite a lot and watched a Dice Tower recap and opinions. And still started the game feeling like we had to learn what to do. But that's just the nature of these heavy games, to be honest. Thankfully, that's why these kind of things are good, because they can help you through it is the reality of this kind of game. You're going to have to check the rulebook a lot. But it didn't actually, for me, take away from the experience, because we had a player rate to lead us through it. It was just a procedural, do this, do that, do that. And the turns were quick.
Yeah, we did have those little hits of happy, we've sparked it, yes, we've succeeded, we've got that hit. It wasn't constant. You had to work for every one of those. It wasn't do this, oh, I feel good about
It's not like
that.
Galactic Cruise where you get a cookie for everything. Everything you do, piece of candy. We did have to
feel
work.
meaningful when you got your
Yeah.
points. It did feel like you
worked
earned
for
it.
it. Yeah,
So-
and the plan when it came off was terrific. There was one turn I took where I really wanted to do one action, but I couldn't go there because I already had a pillar there, which blocked me out of doing it. And so, never mind. I'll do another action. But then that led to a combo action, and then that led to me being able to use one chain to do the action I wanted to do in the first place, and everything clicked into place.
So I do want to try this at 3 players and not have Kronos as our third, because I feel like it would be a very different experience having 3 sets of actions out here and giving influence more.
And I think it would be quick.
I also think we'd have more push to advance our eras, because we were 2 eras behind.
We didn't really do anything with that.
Because we didn't need to. There was no push. But without Kronos introducing more of this, we would have had more of a push to have our eureka moments.
Because we were behind the times. However, we were behind the times from the basis of it being it not being very punishing.
Yeah.
It didn't really punish you.
Not a lot of penalty for it.
We didn't get the extra actions from going ahead. But
whereas in
you
a
have to take the
3-player
action to get that action.
In a 3-player game without the AI, I think it would have been a lot more. Actually, people are gaining more from this. I want to keep up. Whereas Kronos is just out there. He's not scoring. He's not gaining anything from being
moving
ahead.
the game along and churning things.
Whereas if you'd been an era ahead because you'd done your Eureka, I would feel jealous about that. And I would go, actually, I want to be in that era.
Yeah,
as
because
well.
I'd be getting more influence as well. Every time you go on ones that were I had diplomats on or I owned.
Which would have been the penalty for it. So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely worth a 3-player game.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, they're clever enough to know that it was necessary. I wonder what a 2-player game would be like without Kronos, without using that step.
Hollow, I think.
Yeah.
It would be lacking something.
It wouldn't have that push,
competition.
and you wouldn't get the advantages of someone else.
And unlike other games, you
stuff.
don't have the option here to block off action spaces.
It's clearly there to balance it. Ignore everything I've said. Not everything, just the part about Kronos. So, absolute success.
Yeah.
Newer than I thought, 2023. I must have bought it pretty much
quite soon
after. And very much like whenever you play a game that you really enjoy and think this is incredible, it makes you want to play not only it again, but other ones of his games as well.
Yes.
So I've done Kanban, you haven't yet.
On Mars.
Evolution, on Mars, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, 8.5 from me. But then I go up, this is a debate. I go on the scale of how good is it? How likely am I to play it? And how much of a technical masterpiece do I think it is, as opposed to the BGG scale, which is what you do.
So an 8 implies that you would be happy to grab this out at any time off the shelf.
Anytime.
And frankly, it doesn't fit that. This is a 7 at tops for me because it requires you to set aside your afternoon.
Yeah.
You cannot go, we fancy playing a light game. I'll grab Inventions. It's not going to happen.
Well, don't set aside your brain. You definitely need your brain. You need 2 of your brains for the game. But actually, saying that, I'm going to say learning the rules to this game was the most difficult part of playing this game. Not playing the game. The actual playing of it and the decision space and the strategy was sequential enough that you could at least see your journey to points without it being completely opaque. So the most difficult part was learning it. Get over that hill of learning a complicated game. And I think that's what turns a lot of people off heavy games, because they think, I just can't put in the brain power of learning it and really getting the rules down, because it's such a hill to climb. But once you're over it and you know it.
That's why I consider myself very lucky to genuinely enjoy that learning process. Whereas for someone like you, it is the necessary evil of getting to play the game.
It's so hard.
This hobby is for so many different kinds of people, and there will always be the weirdos like me that go, actually, I really dig learning this.
And learning it, but then it makes us feel clever, doesn't it? When we learn a game like this, it's like Rado says, it makes you feel clever and kind of gives you a bit of a positive boost to go, I understand this and I can play it. So great. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope that I pressed record at the start, because if I didn't, this would be embarrassing. And the next one we're going to play today, we're going to play one game because we don't have time to play the game we're about to play because of this monster. So we're going to get a filler game in, and then tonight
we don't have time for the Everrain today.
No, I will do a video on the Everrain, but not today. And then tonight we're playing Container with Board of the Don from Board of the Don, and that's the fully blinged up version. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes,
and thanks very much. See you later.